What is going on, guys? Maddie from DCLblogger.com. It's going to be a bit of a fun video. Something I'm kind of doing it for myself just because it's fun to do. I wanted to go through some of my really big, juicy estates that are like my little babies, right? Like these estates for me are I'm gonna either hold on to them till really when Decentraland launches and it starts to hopefully become successful, or I'll sell them, but I'm only going to sell them unless I get an epic price because they're just really good parcels or estates of lands. So what I wanted to do is actually go through some of these estates with you. Whoops, I've disappeared. Hold up. Let me just lock me in here somehow. Okay, I'm gonna float myself. So some of these estates, right? The reason why I purchased them is one, because obviously they were a good deal. You know me, I don't buy anything unless they're an epic deal. So this one I picked up yesterday for 735,000 mana, which works out to be about 22,000 mana a land. And there's been planned like this spot here. I'm going to explain to you why in a second, but just this area here, it's difficult to get an estate of even 4 pieces, which is really rare, for about even 25,000 mana a piece. So considering I got a 33 block estate with some even connected to the main road and a district, only a couple of parcels away from this district, like it's such a strong property. Like 33 lands in this area is almost a district in itself that I have, with about 100 meters in build height. So I don't know, many people don't know, but adjacent properties, the more properties you have connected to each other, they increase your build height. So one land is like 20 meters in build height. If you have 33 like I do, I've done the math. There's a formula. I think it's like 20 times log to the base 2 of in the brackets, it's the number of lands you own plus 1. Okay, you can find it somewhere. But basically, the more lands you own that are connected to each other, I'm gonna hold this mic because my computer's making really weird sounds. But yeah, the more properties you own connected to each other, the higher you're going to build. So obviously, they're going to be way more appealing to game developers that want to set up camp. Anyway, I'm just going to go through this specific area. Firstly, this is in the kind of east quadrant, just outside of the minus 50 range, the kind of like just outside Genesis City Center. But check this out, guys. This project right here, the Crypto Valley, there's a very strong investment team behind this, and they're trying to make it something similar to Silicon Valley. So you can go on virtual, you can pitch your product virtually. You can pitch your ICO that's coming up, or even a game, or you can go in there and rent a place as an investor, and who knows what this place can become. But for me as a business person, as an entrepreneur, interested in economics, interested in money, like this is an amazing spot for me, just because hopefully it should attract the kind of entrepreneur crowd. Second reason, like these few districts over here, Engineering Park, Tech Sector, what's this one? I think it's Hacker City. It's kind of like the tech area, right? So this bit here is kind of like the techie kind of area where indie developers are probably going to come on board, trying to build something, play around with something. So hopefully a lot of development will specifically happen in this area right here. This one's Battleground, which again, like if that pops off and a lot of developers that are building games set up camp there, then this area is going to be really good. So I honestly, like me personally, I feel like this area here is going to attract a lot of development potential. Hopefully it's going to be a really popular area. Not to mention, guys, that it's next to 2 Genesis plazas. Check this out. It's next to, like, my set over here, or even these districts are in between 2 Genesis plazas. And that's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So this area is of big significance to me just because of these reasons. And it's getting rarer and rarer to find parcels in this area. So if anyone wants to come on board into Decentraland with entrepreneurship in mind, with wanting to set up camp and provide some kind of a business service, this is the location they're going to be looking for. So for me to pick up this 33 land kind of estate for 735,000 mana yesterday at 20,000-ish mana a piece, I know that together these will definitely sell for about 35,000 mana each if I just wait. And I know it will happen because there's been ample times where I've sold estates kind of even smaller than this for about 35,000 mana. It's even up to like 50,000 mana a piece. Once I sold an estate of 20 for 50,000 mana a piece, which was like 1 million mana back then. Okay, this was like a couple of months ago. So I know the potential is there for big estates that are located well. If someone with money comes on board looking for a big piece of land clustered in a bunch of districts, this is what they're going to be looking for. So hopefully it's going to stand out. For me personally, if no one buys it, that's all good. I can rent it out. So even people that want to come on board, people that are interested in this size are probably going to want to do something with it. So hopefully renting it out to these kind of people will hopefully be appealing too. So if you think about it, like if I check out, Decentraland is starting to become kind of a place for game developers to come on board and build a virtual reality portion of their game, or a section of their game in virtual reality. So it's becoming like a place for this. It's attracting a lot of this talent. So you can see here, this is just the articles that Decentraland have released over the last, I don't know, 5 to 6 months. And you can just see the recent partnerships they've done. So Chain Breakers, which is a game, was just introduced literally just yesterday, right? We have here Crypto Beasties is having their pre-sale, also building on the Decentraland platform. You have Crypto Cars that are also building on the Decentraland platform. You also have Animoca Brands, which have dedicated to build two game titles, and they have licenses, guys. These guys have licenses with like big brands. I forgot the names of them, but like, like Hulk or Disney or etc. etc. Who knows what licensed games they're going to build, but they're dedicated to build 2 games only for the Decentraland platform. Big news, right? So what I'm seeing here is a trend of game developers happily coming on board Decentraland. It's all going to it all hinges on the release of Decentraland and when people actually enter the world and start to explore, and if they enjoy that experience, if they like playing this stuff in virtual reality. Is it going to be a thing where you wake up in the morning and the first thing you want to do is put on your virtual reality glasses and play this game? If it does become a place like that, then that's what I'm going to be looking for. That's key for me as an investor, trying to see that kind of touch point. Okay, if I keep kind of going down, I'll just keep seeing like different games. Again, Crypto Beasties, they had their Nifty conference a while back where they probably made a bunch more partnerships. They've got their partnership with Next Reality Partners. They're building their own game, Scrapyard Escape. So Decentraland are building their own game. They also have Ethereum, I know, have come on board. Where's Ethereum? There they are. Ethereum have come on board. I know Axie Infinity are also coming on board. There's just so many games coming on board. That's like 10 games I've just mentioned there, right? 5 to 10 games. And that's the start. And I'm sure like right now, as the priority for Decentraland is to onboard gamers or game developing companies that have the skill, the money, and the talent to make it happen, then it's just going to continue to happen. So hopefully, if like these guys are going to come on board, right? The first thing they need is land. They need land to set up shop on. So eventually Decentraland is going to run out of Genesis Plazas or wherever I don't know how Decentraland is going to come on board and where Decentraland are going to place these guys, but eventually these guys might want a spot of their own or even multiple places. Like if this stuff works out for them and they're making good money or it has increased their user base, why would they not invest in other places, right? So these are the companies that hopefully I can either sell or rent these estates for. So I have 4 estates that I really like, just based on their location and just that they're in great places, guys. So this one right here, I've called it Whale Estate just because it's freaking amazing. Like this is my favorite estate by far. Then I also have this bad boy right here, which is an 11-piece estate connected to Ethereum. Ethereum project, guys, like this is a monster project. It literally takes up like a quarter of the screen, okay? And a lot of development and kind of what do you call it? Like a lot of potential is Ethereum project shows a lot of potential just because of what I've seen in terms of development, the team behind it, the size of the project, and a lot of the development and commitment gone in people investing in Ethereum project. Basically, they want to make something similar to Ready Player One. They want to make kind of like an indie, what do you call it? A retro kind of like the Fifth Element, or was it the Sixth Element? Sixth Element movie, kind of like that kind of a world where you can enter and do those kind of things. Okay, now Previously, historically, lands connected to these have sold for between 25 to 45,000 mana, single parcels. Now, this one is an 11-piece estate, and technically every piece is connected to this double road, right? Because technically, like, this whole bit is connected to the double road. So every piece now is worth about 35,000 mana. So if you do the math, 35 times 11 is about 400,000 mana. So I think it's about 385,000 mana. But I've priced it at 600,000 mana because, guys, I want people to negotiate with me. Like, I want people to contact me. Yes, that's a bit pricey. You can buy it off the marketplace if you want. But these deals, and I know this happens just because through experience, but big deals like this, when people are putting down 600,000 mana, 700,000 mana, 1,000,000 mana, they want to get the best price. So I'm happy for them to come and contact me and negotiate prices with me. That's how big business works. When you're buying a house, you don't just click a few buttons and you own the house, right? Hopefully it will be that easy later on, but people are going to want to bargain. If they can knock $20,000, $50,000 off a $500,000 house, that's a lot of money. That's like a couple of cars for them. So that being said, like, these are priced for people to negotiate with me, or I'm going to just hold on to them and hopefully rent them to developers in the future. Now, this one specifically, like, I've thought so much ahead, guys. So check this out, right? This one specifically, I have found the owner of these lands over here. So this 7 or 6 lands and these 4 lands, they're actually the same owner. I'm actually in negotiation with that person. Well, not so much negotiation, but I've kind of put an offer out there. Let's just see if they come back to me. But if I get these lands and wait for the second auction and pick these ones up, which I shouldn't really have that much competition for, because why would you want these specific lands in seemingly nowhere, right? Yeah, they are close to Ethereum, but you're not going to spend like 20,000 mana on them. But I would happily, just because I can hook them up to this, right? I can hook them up to this, and now this one becomes a massive 33-piece estate, another 33-piece estate, almost as big. Like, if I can get one that big, guys, if I can hook these up to this estate, then it becomes almost a district in itself. It's a big piece of land. And again, like I told you, the more lands I can connect up to this, the higher you can build, which is going to be a defining point when it comes to rentals, when it comes to building things, and especially game developers are going to look for good areas, one, and secondly, big estates, just because of the build height limit. And obviously games want a lot of area to build, right? So there's that one. Then there is this third one here. Okay, so this one's a 15-piece estate. This one's valuable to me because it's somewhat close to Genesis City. Okay, it's somewhat close to Genesis City Center, Genesis Plaza. It's probably 5 parcels away from the double road. It's within -25 to 25 quadrant. So yes, this is -50 to 50, but it's even within like the -25 quadrant. It exists there, right? Yes, it's on the border, but it's there. And okay, no one's there. And I picked this one up for, I think, 230,000 mana. So that would have been 15,000 mana a land, and 15,000 mana a land is like on the lower end of the lands, right? But so for me, worst case scenario, guys, I can just put it back on the marketplace for 15,000 mana each. It's not too bad of a thing for me. So I always think whenever I'm buying land, specifically when I'm buying big pieces of land, because nowadays I'm dealing with like really big numbers, right? So I have to be very careful, guys, where I put my money, because nowadays, especially with Decentraland and probably in the future of non-fungible tokens or crypto collectibles, you're dealing with big money, and you're dealing with kind of collectible assets of which the value is determined by how much people want them. All right, and they're not as liquid as just buying tokens or cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Mana or Ethereum, where you can just literally buy it for one day and then you can happily sell it the next day for the same price. You're buying something that comes with a unique set of characteristics which you find valuable. Okay, so I find this valuable for my own reasons. So if I want to sell this, then someone that finds it valuable needs to come on and kind of find and pay the amount that I paid for it or more. That's how I make my money. It's not as easy as just like every Ethereum is the exact same Ethereum token. Do you know what I mean? But every estate here is different. The placing is different. The size is different. So again, like the value kind of, I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself properly here, but basically you have to be very careful and you have to get a good deal, especially when you're dealing with thousands, tens of thousands of dollars eventually maybe even hundreds or millions of dollars. When you're dealing with that much money, you don't want to put $1 million into something because you think it's that valuable, but you realize later on that you can't really sell it for even $500,000. Okay, so right now we live in the wild west when it comes to crypto, so you have to be very, very careful, especially with NFT tokens. When you're buying, you have to get a good deal, guys. Don't be stupid and buy something just because you compare a bunch of lands around it and you think you're relatively cheap. Look at sales history to make sure you're getting a good deal, or a deal that that if you put it back on the marketplace for that price, you can sell it again. Obviously, if you are investing as a long-term bullish Decentraland investor, it's a different case for you. But if you're a buyer and seller or someone that may sell within a month, you have to be very careful. Anyway, this 15-piece land, I think people may find it interesting because, one, it's just so close to the Genesis Plaza. It's pretty damn close. Look at this one, is obviously much closer. It's selling for 2 million. So it's selling for 100,000 mana for one land, guys. But it's really close to Genesis Plaza. So someone that wants something that's this close to center Genesis may pay that much. Obviously, mine's not that expensive. I've kind of priced mine at, I think, 40,000 mana or something? 40,000 mana a land, which is on the higher end. But I'm waiting for that specific investor to come on and look for this exact spot. It's not for the average investor. It's for those that want to build big experiences. And I've also realized, and I don't know how probable this is, like this says Ethereum on it. Okay. Now I don't know if this is owned and kind of dedicated to Ethereum, or like, I don't know if this is owned by Ethereum right now, because the owner of this parcel, he's got like 1,000 plus land. So he could be just a big investor who may be showcasing his own Ethereum, or that may be Ethereum themselves that have set up camp right there, which if it is, obviously Ethereum have found value in being this close to decentral, like Genesis City. So why wouldn't I invest in something pretty close to and sell it for another game that may be interested to also set up right there? Right, guys? Now, again, like I am looking for people to come on board, or companies to come on board and rent my land or buy it, because that's where the value is for the bigger companies. Now, this one right here, I actually got an offer for this for 500,000 mana. Did not sell it. I don't know if it was a good decision for me to turn that down. I actually wanted 550,000 mana, just because it's like connected to a double road, also connected to a single road on both sides. So it's 3-side connection to a road. And look at that, it's only like 15 about 15 spots away from center Genesis, guys, connected to a double road. And there's value in that, right? So I'll probably be happy getting rid of it for about 550,000 mana, but it is a good spot. The size isn't there though, it's only 4 lands, but the traffic should be there just because of where it's located. Like, you'll have to traverse through this double road to get to the north side where there's DCL Plaza. There's a bunch of districts here. So if spawn point is here and you're going from this area to this area, and you want to walk that road and kind of see around you, then this is a freaking valuable place, because there's not many large estates over here, right? There's these 2 here which are right off Genesis Plaza, and then there's like mine. That's it. There may be a couple more that I haven't seen, but all I can see is one here, and then there's a few down the end. So I do find value in these, and I know the ones that are single lands that are connected to, like if these were just individual lands, if they were connected to this double road and this corner, then I could probably sell them for about 130, 150,000 each. But the fact that all 4 of these are connected to this double road effectively, that's why I've kind of put the price up at 650,000 mana. And again, like, I want people to contact me and negotiate. You want these, negotiate with me. But yeah, like that's why I'm excited about these 4 specific lands, just because the size and the fact that they're attractive to big institutional or kind of big investors or developers that actually have the money to put into Decentraland. And what I've noticed is, like, people with big deep pockets, they don't mind spending a good chunk of money to get the location they want, because they're long term in this, and they're usually buying it for a reason. They want to rent it out, they want to build their own businesses, their experiences. They really kind of believe in what Decentraland is going to be. And for me, I don't mind getting rid of a couple of these, and I may keep a couple more, because I do think that the rent facility that Decentraland will release in, I don't know how long, but eventually there will be a renting feature that has been discussed plenty of times. That's going to be a big thing. And I may not get the price that I want when it comes to selling this, but if people are looking to rent, then hopefully these areas will be very, very good rental locations, especially this one right here, the first one, the first 33-piece estate. Okay, that one I do think is going to be a good rental spot. And like if worst come, like if one person or one company can't afford the whole rent, I can always split it into two, and the build height will still be as it is for 33, but I'll just split it into two and give 15 on this side for one kind of company, and 15 on the other side, or 18 on the other side for the other company. So there's still a lot of opportunity, and I can also build different floors, right? So 100 meters in height, say 20 meters in build height floors, which is freaking huge, man. 20 meters in height is like one parcel by itself in height. So if I have like 20-meter height, 5 different floors of this kind of area, I can probably rent out like, I don't know, 20 kind of offices effectively. Or I haven't done the math, it maybe more, maybe less, but rent may be a big thing. And I know there's a lot of people giving free rent, and people that want to explore Decentraland should definitely explore those possibilities. And there's some districts that are giving free rent if you want to just try and build different experiences. But if you want to set up camp and you want to monetize your land and have it for God knows how long, then you're going to be looking for an actual estate that is in a good location. So yeah, guys, just really wanted to, I don't know, talk about a bunch of my own stuff, my own estates. I always talk about buying and selling, and I give tips, advice out there on how to play the marketplace, the Decentraland marketplace, how to understand the marketplace, the Decentraland economy. But in this one, I really just want to talk about my own estates, because I'm really excited, guys. Like, I'm pretty excited to own these 3 or 4 estates that are in good locations, and I'm very excited that when Decentraland launches, I don't know how it's going to go. Like, I do understand there's a lot of risks and hurdles ahead of the Decentraland team. They're dealing with virtual reality, which still hasn't become like predominantly adopted. Like, are people going to like wearing headsets for long periods of time? Is that going to strain on their eyes? Is technology going to evolve where that process is easier, that the process is easier, the experience is easier? Is it going to become more of a more accessible experience or service, virtual reality, whatever you want to call it? Cryptocurrency, where do we all stand with the mana token? Like, the kind of a mana token that just jumps up and down widely connected or hooked with BTC. Like, how is that economy going to work with Decentraland? Is Decentraland going to become a platform when it opens that is going to be enjoyable experience? There's so many hurdles ahead, guys, and I hope that Decentraland as a community come together and solve these, and I'm kind of hoping for that, because as an investor I would, but you have to understand the risks. So I don't want to just be talking about the good stuff with Decentraland, right? Because I'm an investor, but I also want other people that look into Decentraland, that do find my content, to understand and be aware of the risks and of this stuff, because it's a lot of money, guys. Like, if you're putting $20,000-$30,000 in this, you want to make sure that it's going to a good spot, and it's not as liquid as just wanting to sell it tomorrow and getting that $20,000-$30,000 back. It's a lot of being said. And that's that, guys. So that's 4 or 5 parcels that I own myself. I have plenty of single parcels that I'm honestly just trying to get rid of, because for like 29 single parcels that some are connected to estates, some are by themselves. I got this like 5-piece estate that's decently close to Decentraland. The Center Genesis Plaza. I've got this one here in the corner, like only 5 or 6 spots away from the center. I've got this one here that's literally 1 spot away from the center, connected pretty close to both of these. Like, I have some good single spots too, but I'm honestly, like, I'll be happy to get rid of all of these single spot lands for a good price. Like, I really want to just get rid of them and focus on these estates and become someone that people want to rent from, just because I have the estates at the moment, and that's what I'm trying to capture at the moment. So anyway, guys, just a few words on that, or a few hundred words on that. Keep doing the research with Decentraland, and hopefully I'll make another video with an analysis soon. I'm going to try to do those analysis videos every week. Decentraland is like my life right now. It's all I kind of do in the mornings, evenings. I chat with people, organize deals, and I'm so heavily invested in terms of time, energy, and money into this that I'm kind of obsessed, to be honest. Anyway, catch you guys next time.